Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you happen to be watching this,
Sup?
gentlemen. Uh, this is Thiebel. That's Panda over there,
Yep.
listening to his Rise Against in the background. Shut that off. What is it?
It's asking Alexandria.
Oh, asking Alexandria. That's a Greek city or a Roman city. I can't remember.
It's Egyptian actually.
No, Egyptian. Same thing. Anyways, welcome to our comparison of Rift and WoW. Hopefully, unbiased version. Quick background on us. Both of us have been gaming for a decent amount of time, especially in the MMORPG genres. We have both tried out Lotro and have been both avid players of WoW, especially. And quite recently, we have switched over to Rift, mostly because we feel it's more interesting, really. But we're still gonna attempt to make this as unbiased as possible. Quick overview. Rift and World of Warcraft are both MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing games, and although World of Warcraft has held the field for 6 years now, with a subscriber base of 12 million, um, Rift, a new MMO, has recently come back online, come online into the field. Sorry,
Yeah, it
and
literally just began and it already has 500,000.
yes, 500,000 subscribers, and it's the only game so far that I know of very well, other than kind of Warhammer Online, that has managed to garner support this quickly, and has managed to take over as many subscribers as anything has from WoW. Because a lot of those Rift players are actually World of Warcraft players who went over, and they're old World of Warcraft players for the most part, which is really strange for them. And I have to admit, it's a good game. So let's just go into the perks of Rift first, and then we'll head over to WoW. Panda?
So Rift, it's a lot like WoW, but it has a lot of dynamic events.
Let me
Like
interrupt you here.
what?
Anybody who says Rift isn't a WoW clone is
Yeah,
horribly,
it's just
horribly wrong.
we both played the beta, and the second we began, we're just basically like, wow, this is completely World of Warcraft. But
In fact, actually, while playing the beta, we quit. We thought, oh my, this is horrible content, this is boring. And I think that anybody who played the beta and only got to like level 6 should give it another try. Because me and him are playing it now,
yep.
almost exclusively.
So yeah, anyway, it has dynamic events like rifts, invasions, and a harbinger, and they basically all just add to your leveling experience, so you don't just get too burned out when you're on a grind.
And we all know what leveling is, it's a grind. I mean, sure, WoW's made it a bit more fun in the past, in recent years actually, but it's still pretty boring. And if you're wondering what the Harbinger is, it's a world event that's going on right now.
It's
And
basically like you close a bunch of rifts, defeat some invasions, and then this big like kind of boss thing comes, and like all the people in the zone go and like kind of raid it.
how many times did you use like in that sentence? Are you a 16-year-old girl?
Obvious.
Anyways, yes. Um, the Harbinger is kind of what you would think of as the Wrath zombie invasion, and like High Lord Cruel and Kazakh being taunted over to massive main cities in WoW. However, it's not like the Elemental invasion, which sucked. Just saying.
Tried that for like 10 minutes, and yeah.
Now, let's get into one of mine and Panda's biggest happinesses, that's not a word, of Rift. And this is the harder content. Now, WoW has had content which has been. It has had two modes: easy and hard, up until Wrath. And then up until Kata. And now in Kata it has some really easy, some really hard, and then heroic, which is brick wall of steel. Yes, it's a brick wall made out of steel bricks. And really, the content that we have out for non-heroic right now is kind of unbalanced, while at the same time being either too easy or too hard. I mean, compare Magma to like Cameron. And also at the same time, it's really kind of makes you burn out on raiding a lot. And also heroics. In WoW, heroics used to be really hard in the Cata beta, but then they got nerfed across the board. Like look at Baron Ashbury, for instance.
Yeah, people just complaining that it was too easy, and so Blizzard apparently listened to them and basically nerfed it to the ground. So it's just you can go AFK, and you'll still get your badges.
I mean, honestly, I hate admitting this, but I did get a little bit of gear by hitting autofollow on people and going AFK and making tea. Now, what Rift has is it has level 50 dungeons, kind of like WoW does, but the level 50 experts, quote unquote, which are heroics,
50 is the max level, by the way.
are hard. They take time, they take knowledge, they take effort. And they take flexibility from the classes, but I'll explain that a little later. And yeah, they're really quite a lot of fun. Now,
Yeah, so there's multi-tier PvE, basically, which I don't know if anyone remembers, but back in BC, there were different tiers of dungeons, like raids. Like, you had to do Serpent Shrine Cavern to even be able to, like, touch Black Temple, because you need to get well geared with Serpent Shrine to, like, even be able to, like, dent the bosses. I mean, you couldn't just skip forward instantly.
now
Like,
the thing,
basically, me and him, we made a bunch of alts during ICC, and we pretty much instantly geared ourselves, which is kind of sad.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a pro healer, but what actually I will point out is, now, what also I want to say is they've got something I really, really like, and that is multi-tier heroics. They have 2 tiers of heroics, or experts, as they call them now. Anyways, but the first tier is a good deal easier than the second tier, and you can do it with questing gear. However, you can't touch the second tier heroics unless you've got a nice geared up group and you're willing to be carried without having good gear from the first tier heroics to go into there. And, well, experts, I'm going to keep referring to them as heroics sometimes because I get confused. But it's really nice and it takes effort. Now, as to those who consider themselves casual, I think it's still accessible, however, it takes more effort. Now, what Rift has, which I really like, and I think is really cool, is a much better class system in WoW than WoW. Now, a lot of people will say this because you can sustain a spec, or your spec will be better, etc., etc. Or you can pick your own spec, choose the way you play. Now, I kind of disagree with this, actually. I like the class system for a different reason. Because, see, with the way you play, you still really pretty much have what is known as cookie cutter specs. You will still have the specs which are better than other specs to put out more DPS. And you're going to need to put out more DPS. Now, while Rift has some customizability, but it's not as big as the hype has made it out to be. However, what I do like is that there are only 4 callings, and each of these callings has pretty much different classes within them. So, for instance, I play a mage a lot, and my mage can be a healer. But yeah, and you can also be a DPS. But it uses the same gear set. Mages will always use intellect as their main stat, no matter if they're healing or DPSing, so you don't have to get new gear to switch between specs, which is really nice. Clerics can tank, heal, DPS. Now, to tank, you need to hit toughness cap, and for mages, for instance, DPS, you need focus cap. But you can get this through a couple rings and chants and stuff like that. It's not that hard. And other than that, you can switch between specs, which is really, really cool. And also, there are knockbacks, which are awesome.
Oh yeah, like each class has literally 2 or more. It's just like, boom, you're like a mile away from me now.
It's great. I mean, Stormcaller, just awesome. Okay, so, and the other thing that is cool about Rift, which is kind of obvious, is there's new content. It's stuff you've never seen before. And it's really nice, and that's one of the best things about it.
Yeah, that's honestly why we switched, pretty much.
Okay, so now we're gonna switch into the World of Warcraft perks. Why you would like World of Warcraft over Rift?
All
I
right.
will start the. Oh, all right, Panda, go ahead.
Yeah, WoW is for the most part it's more casual friendly. Like you can log on, do a heroic for like half an hour, then log off again.
It's a
But
lot less time
yeah,
consuming. Honestly, you will spend less time in WoW than you will in Rift if you want to do that.
I mean my friend named Llama, he basically just logs on once every night, does a heroic, and logs off. That's all he did.
He did that, but then he came to Rift because he liked it more. Still trying to be unbiased here, though. And I mean, also content is easier during normal modes. So if you want to, and heroic modes. So if you want to do, and but here I'm talking about dungeons for a minute. So if you want to do a nice, quick heroic for fun, you won't be really having to put in too much effort. It's pretty easy. And normal mode raid content isn't that hard as long as you're with competent people. Now, you will hit a brick wall as soon as you hit hard modes, unless you're elite, and also have lots and lots of time. And those that aren't really interested in hard modes won't be as really constricted by WoW, because really WoW has pretty good content for those who don't want to play too much. And Rift does too, though.
And R- WoW generally has more people per server. Well, at the moment, because WoW obviously has like 12 million. It's been around for like 6 years.
12 million, guys. Seriously. This is... Bam. You have a group. Dungeon Finder. Look at it.
Oh yeah, Rift doesn't have a dungeon finder.
It's like a sandwich that's given to you rather than you having to make. And I mean, leveling in WoW, definitely more fun if you exclude Northrend. And I'm a big fanatic of Outland. I don't know why I love Outland, but he hates it. So do most people. But in Rift, quests are kill X of Y, go. And sure, there are some that are a bit different, but mostly X of Y.
The WoW developers, like the people who made the game, are kind of more experienced in the genre.
Kind of, they've been doing it for
Yeah, they've
6 years,
been doing it for
at
like 6 years.
not including Ghostcrawler, who is actually a marine biologist.
And they've been at the top of the gaming world for pretty much the entire time. So honestly,
WoW has more subscribers and more copies out than any other game. WoW does not have bugs for the most part. And if it has a bug, it'll be hotfixed quickly. Rift has bugs. Like, not that many, but it has them. It was polished when it came out, much more polished than Vanilla WoW was. Like, I mean, Vanilla WoW was buggy, buggy, buggy. Rift was pretty clean, but it still is buggy at times. And they don't have just as much experience fixing this. Anyways, WoW has much better PvP because there are arenas, there's more battlegrounds, it's more balanced, etc. And in general, WoW is more balanced. If you look right now, or I'm not sure right now, but before the patch, in Rift, the mage's healing spec would do more DPS than the rogue's best DPS spec. Now they've fixed this a little bit, so it's makes more sense. But still, WoW does have more experience with balance. Now, that's our basic review of the games, comparison of the games, really. And I will say now that I would say that if you've been playing WoW for a long time and are sick of the type of game WoW is, Rift's really not for you. However, if you've been playing WoW for a while, have been enjoying it, maybe you're a little burnt out, you should definitely try Rift. There's an Allies of the Extended weekend coming up the 16th and 17th. Get a code from Zam, try it out. Get to like level 13 before you judge it, because low levels I don't really like them very much. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching this video. Well, the video in the background is actually just us doing the first part of a dungeon. It's not an expert, it's a normal dungeon. It's quite easy. You'll see me switch specs at one point there. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Like our video if you like it. Dislike it, downvote it if you don't like it. And leave a comment. We love constructive criticism, and we love feedback.